You know that house you bought during the pandemic with that amazing interest rate? Or maybe you refinanced under 3% and now you're thinking, why sell? I'll just rent it out and build wealth. If you're new here, I'm Lily Vallario, a Maryland realtor, and I've been selling residential real estate for over 21 years. And here I give you straight, practical advice you won't find on TikTok. Because let's be real, TikTok makes being a landlord look way too easy. Buy a house, rent it out, cash checks, retire early. But after owning 3 rental properties here in Maryland, I can tell you it's all good until it's not. And it's not just me saying this. I get calls from homeowners all the time saying, Lily, I'm tired of being a landlord. They're fed up with the repairs, vacancies, or nightmare tenants. And when I go to list those homes, I often walk into shocking conditions. Carpets destroyed, kitchens and bathrooms that need full remodels, and smells so strong they hit you as soon as you open the door. Sometimes everything they thought they earned over the years is completely wiped out when the tenants move out. So in this video, I'm sharing the real stories from my own rentals, the hidden costs no one talks about, and then the real pros and cons of renting versus selling, so you can decide what makes more sense for you. One of my rentals is not that bad. At least for me, it's not. The tenants don't bother me, but they do pay late every month, usually around the 7th, 8th, or even 9th instead of the 1st. But the rent comes in and they leave me alone. I don't have a mortgage on that one, so it doesn't affect me financially, and I'm just okay with it. The only hiccup I had was the beginning of this summer, not last year, the beginning of the summer when the AC broke down. Luckily, it was only $2,000 instead of a $10,000 replacement. But this is the version of landlording that people picture. Not perfect, but manageable. But then you've got the other side. My second rental is in Frederick, and it looks fine on paper. I receive the tenant's payments on the 1st of every month on time. But then the other day, the washer broke. So I just ordered a new washing machine and had it delivered to the house. And I sent my contractor out to install it. He calls me and says, Lily, this house is a disaster. The carpet is trashed. The walls are filthy. The hardwood floors are scratched and damaged. I saw beer bottles and plastic water bottles scattered all over the yard. Lily, I think you need to come and see this. So yes, rent on this one is coming in on time, but I already know that when they leave, I'm looking at a $40,000 gut renovation just to make it livable again. And honestly, I've decided to ignore this because I don't want to see what they've done. I'll just deal with it when they decide to move out. This is something that new landlords don't think about. A tenant can pay every single month on time, but if they destroy the property, all that rent money disappears in one turnover. And then there's my Bowie property. I rent out the basement as a studio apartment, but a few weeks ago, the tenant under the influence became extremely violent. He went upstairs and assaulted my tenants upstairs. He smashed windows. He started ripping off the siding and also broke a few doors. My upstairs tenant ran out terrified and called me. At that time, I was enjoying my Sunday afternoon on the boat with my husband, my daughter, and a few friends. But she said, you need to call the police now. He is going insane. And she was afraid that he was going to vandalize the entire house. She's like, Lily, I'm not sure what he's going to do. He started to rip out siding. He's throwing chairs all around. He took the patio furniture and threw it on the ground. He's rolling all over the grass like a crazy person. Please come now. So immediately, of course, I hung up and told my husband and my friends, we got to turn around. I got to go see what's going on. We got to call the police. So we had to rush back home, jump on the car, and call the police on our way there. While we sat in the car, when we got there waiting for the police, the tenant came at us, making threats and banging hard on the window. Then he jumped on the hood of my car and smashed my windshield by kicking it in and climbed on the roof to try to smash himself through my sunroof. That's when I finally reacted and drove him off the roof of my car and drove away until the officers arrived. He was taken away, but it didn't end there. court hearings, protective orders, criminal charges. Now I don't have my car, so I'm driving a rental. Just weeks of stress. And meanwhile, that basement sits empty. It still needs repairs. It still needs a new tenant. And I'm probably going to lose several months of rental income. So this is the side you never see on social media. It's not just about money. Sometimes it's safety, emotional stress, and the legal nightmare that follows. Now let's step back, because even if you never have a nightmare tenant like mine, there are structural realities to being a landlord that people don't understand. First, evictions are not simple. Whether you manage the property yourself or have a property manager, if your tenant is not paying, you can't just go bang on the door and say, "Get out of my property." And you can't change the locks and lock them out either just because you own the house. It's a legal process that can take several months. And while the tenant isn't paying, you still owe your mortgage, taxes, and insurance. You have all your expenses and no income coming in. Even with a property manager, it's not free. Their 8 to 10% monthly fee doesn't cover legal proceedings. You'll be charged separately for every letter their attorney sends, every court appearance, every filing, and those costs can stack up fast. Second, tenant turnover always costs more than you think. It's never just paint and deep cleaning the carpet. Between deep cleaning, replacing floors, fixing fixtures, repainting entire rooms, and waiting on contractors who can be booked out, you could be out thousands plus months of lost rental. Third, capital expenses are unavoidable. Every roof, HVAC, and appliance has a lifespan. You can't just ignore them. They will eventually break. I just had a water heater cost me $800, a roof $8,000, and an HVAC system cost me $10,500, all for the same house this year. That's $20,000 gone. So when you're running the numbers, you can't just look at mortgage minus rent equals profit. That's fantasy math. You need reserves, and you need to factor in these real-world expenses. So should you rent or should you sell? Renting can build wealth. Tenants pay down your mortgage, you get tax benefits, and sometimes cash flow. But the risks are real. Vacancies, repairs, turnover, legal costs, and stress. Selling means you're cashing out your equity, avoiding headaches, and here's a big one, keeping your capital gains exemption if this was your primary home. But if you rent it out for more than 5 years, you lose that benefit, and you could owe tens of thousands of dollars in taxes when you finally sell. So the right answer depends on your cash flow, your reserves, and your tolerance for stress. So here's the bottom line. Being a landlord is a business, not a side hustle. It takes money and time. Yes, real estate can build wealth over time, but if you're only keeping your house as a rental because of your low interest rate and you're not prepared for these realities, you may be setting yourself up for a financial and emotional nightmare. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe, and drop a comment with your biggest landlord question. And if you are a landlord, please share how it's working out for you. I'd like to see other people's perspective. Maybe it's working amazing for some of you out there. So please drop a comment and let us know. I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to respond, and I'd just love to hear how it is. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lily Vallario with eXp Realty. And if you're here in Maryland and debating whether to sell or rent, please feel free to reach out. All my info is in the box below. Until next time, bye.